All right. This is Science Fiction Snob, and today I'm going to talk about the gotcha argument. Now, this is a way that these social justice wars use when they have an argument with you, whenever you're discussing something. This is how they try to isolate you and destroy your argument, and not using logic, but using their SJW craptastic tactics. And I'm making this video because I saw it happened recently to comic artist Pro Secrets. It was demonstrated in their discussion in a video that I'll leave in the link about Jason Ward and him being blackmailed. So I'm going to go over that really quick because it's more important, and I'll leave a link in the description for the video. You can see it yourself. But then after that happened, like the next day, I got into a discussion with Renfamous, and she immediately did the same thing to me. So I wanted to expose it. You've probably noticed this already yourself if you've ever had any discussion about it. All right. So anyway, comic artist Pro Secrets. If you don't know the background, he had an interview with Jason Ward, and the SJWs weren't happy about that, and they started going after Jason Ward about it. So then one of the SJWs came to EVS and said to him, "Hey, did you blackmail Jason Ward into giving you this interview?" And he says, "No, of course I didn't blackmail him. Why would I do that?" She says, "He's saying that you blackmailed him." Well, that's really bad. I never did that. Then she goes out to her little followers and tells them, "Jason Ward is a liar. He wasn't blackmailed. I've seen the proof, blah, blah, blah." And of course they all swarm on Jason Ward. Well, when you look at the information, Jason Ward didn't say that he was blackmailed by anyone. All he said was, "Hey, this guy, comic artist Pro Secrets, was looking into this situation, and he was going to find out this piece of information. And I didn't want him to find it out and spread it out, so I spoke to him beforehand with the understanding that I'd explain the situation, I'd do the interview, and then and that he would keep this information, which was of a personal nature and sensitive, he would keep it quiet." That's what happened. I mean, that's a perfectly logical thing for Jason Ward to do. He wants to control this sensitive information getting out about his personal life and his family. So he gives the information. It's not blackmail. It's just what he did, to try to control the narrative a little bit. Perfectly acceptable and understandable, and all of a sudden that becomes blackmailing. This is what they do. They take a piece of information, they conflate it into something else, and then that becomes this bad thing that you did. Now, I'm going to go over an example of what happened to me. So, Renfamous puts up there a tweet saying, "Women sexually assaulted by Eric Esquivel come forward. Comic Skate spends weeks calling any comic pro who ever knew him a rape apologist. Women sexually assaulted by Vic come forward. Comic Skate calls the victims liars and backs a GoFundMe to help Vic sue them." Okay, so what is she trying to get there? Oh, implying that, some rapists are more equal than others, or that because Eric Esquivel said bad things about Comic Skate, that Comic Skate piled onto them. But Vic is pro-comic. Well, he's not. He's neutral. I don't think he knows anything about Comic Skate. Then Comic Skate support him. So she's basically implying that the people in Comic Skate, a whole lot of them, they have no integrity, no principles. They're just going after one guy because they don't like him, and they're okay with this other guy because they like him, or whatever. So I come down here and I say, perhaps it has something to do with the credibility of the accusations. That's perfectly reasonable thing to say, right? You have two crimes. No two crimes are exactly the same. You rob a bank, one guy robs a bank, some other guy robs a bank. They're not going to, the details of the situation are going to be different, right? One guy robs a bank, maybe he shot some people. He took out more money, he threatened people, he had a gun. That's going to affect it. The other guy did the same thing. None of those factors are in there. It's going to be different. They're going to get sentenced different. They might, there's all kinds of factors. So, of course, she replies, the only difference between the two situations is that two women accused Esquivel and at least 10 times that have accused Vic. Well, that's not true. Okay, that portion is true. There are two accused of one, and that more have accused Magnolia. But the severity of the accusations are different. Okay, this is my reply. All the accusations are exactly the same. Come on now, every situation is different. If I get 100 people to accuse you of raping them, doesn't mean that it's true. The details of the two situations, I said I don't know the details of the two situations, but suggesting them that they're the same is false. And it is false, okay? Now, I do know some of the details of the situation, but I'm not an expert. I mean, I wasn't there. I only know what's been put out in the newspapers and reports and that sort of thing. Okay, of course, maybe you should go look up instead of crawling into my mentions. All right, typical baloney. They usually say. My research is that Vic's accusations are of an inappropriate touch or kiss on the cheek, while Eric's are of a much more serious nature. Perhaps you can help clear this up. You seem to be much better informed. Trying to find out here if she knows something that perhaps we don't know, because there has been situations where SJWs go on, oh, we know all this information, we're not telling you. And we would appreciate the details. Okay, pretty reasonable. Here you go. I did your Googling for you. Let's go to the next ones. I read this article. Yeah, I already read this article. Here she replies. That's weird. Your account. You read the account from someone who said Vic forced her down at the hotel bed and only stopped assaulting her when someone came to the door, and choose to characterize those as inappropriate touch or kiss on the cheek. Okay, so there is a tweet missing here that I did put out. I put it out. Sent it to her, and it's right here. Okay, and this is, I clarified, right? The first one is pretty general. My first tweet's very general. Okay, so this is a little more specific. So my read on the accusations against Eric are much more serious. They include sexual coercion and mental abuse, right? I'm giving more details. While Vic's are inappropriate touching, kissing, and possible attempted rape. I mentioned the attempted rape. I cannot judge the veracity of this claim. Situations are not the same. They are not the same. Okay? And then, but of course, that is my big mistake. Okay, I have committed the carnal sin. Now I can be cut off and I can be ignored, and everything I've ever said has no value whatsoever. Here we go. It's almost like you're a sexual assault apologist, and speaking to you is a waste of my time. Well, of course. There you go. Can't argue the details. Now I'm going to argue against the man. And of course I reply, yes, it's much easier to falsely label me and mute me than engage my arguments, which is what she does. Okay? I'm not a rape apologist. I mean, I have 2 daughters myself. If any of these guys are convicted of rape, I think they should be appropriately punished. Throw the book at them, of course. I would never want anyone to be raped. Who would? All right, and then she goes on here, falsely labeled. Your arguments are disingenuous and not made in good faith. Okay, here we go. Othering me. All right, I wasn't specific enough at one point. I'm an apologist, and therefore I'm disingenuous, and I'm not saying anything in good faith. I spend my time speaking to people who don't purposely mischaracterize sexual assault to fit their narrative. Get bent. All right, whatever. I reply, what's disingenuous about my arguments? She can't read mine. She has no idea if I am. She doesn't know if I'm in good faith. My point is still the same. No crime is the same. Severity and validity of the accusations can affect how people view a situation. My second post mentioned the attempted rape. I did mention it. It is you that is mischaracterizing my post. And it's exactly everything that she's accusing me of, being disingenuous, not making arguments in good faith. That's what she does. Everything that she accuses me of is what she does. Okay? I didn't make it in good faith. I made a perfectly valid point at the beginning. Maybe there is another reason. Maybe the details of the accusations are what make some people support one person and another person who are accused of somewhat similar crimes. Perfectly logical, perfectly reasonable. Anyway, so this is what they do. They'll take anything you say, and if you make a misstep in any of your comments, and you will make a misstep, right? I'm speaking generally about it, then as opposed to specifically about what she did or what was done. They're going to take that, they're going to use it to other you, and therefore your opinion has no validity, and then they can then ignore you. That's what they do. Now, it wouldn't bother me. It doesn't bother me so much about this, but what really scares me is the amount of likes and all that come out of this. All the people retweeting and liking her comments. I mean, it really scares me. It makes me fear for the human race when they're. I mean, it is her feed, and I'm coming onto her feed, so it's probably all her little supporters coming along to try to get head pats from her for liking what she says. But it really scares me that that there's that many people out there. I mean, what's wrong with our education system? There's that many people out there who can't see a logical argument and say, okay, well, these two things, are not the same. This guy's accused of one crime, this guy's accused of a similar crime. But just because I support one and not the other doesn't mean that you're an evil person or you have no principles. There could be other reasons, but no, people are just like, yeah. Really makes me wonder about that. Luckily, since I've been sent here from the future. I know that this SJW thing is dying off. It is going to end eventually. However, it's not going to end without a lot of cultural damage. So, any of you out there who have who are be careful. Those of you who live in the U.S., there's going to be some damage, especially after the Trump ends his presidency in 2024. I think if I was an American and living in the States, I'd move out of America after 2024, just for a couple years till everything quiets down. Go to Europe or no, don't go to Europe. I forgot. Don't go to Europe. Go to somewhere else. Go to Mexico. Go to Canada. It's kind of cold up here, but it's not going to get as crazy. So I hope this was enlightening. I hope this will show you how they argue and what they do and how they other you, so you know when it happens, and you can just ignore it. It's probably not even worth arguing with them. But if you do get in an argument, you can tell when this happens and what they're up to, what they're trying to do. Thank you.